In this training session, we focus on the weather-resistive barrier done right the first time. Fasten house wrap, the weather-resistive barrier, with cap fasteners nailed 32 inches on center, both vertically and horizontally. Overlap the house wrap 6 inches, both vertically and horizontally. When starting the installation, be sure to begin 12 inches around a corner to provide adequate coverage. Apply seam tape to all overlaps. At inside corners, be sure to push the house wrap firmly into the corner to avoid damage when the exterior cladding is installed. In areas to receive stucco, install a second layer of house wrap to create the required drainage plane. Hold cap nails 3 inches above the bottom of the sheathing to accommodate the stucco weep screed. Do not tape the bottom of these areas to allow the weep screed to be applied under the layers of house wrap in shingle style. Through-wall brick flashing should only extend to the edge of the brick ledge once the flashing is pushed back to the OSB. Be sure the flashing is fully lapped around the corner as shown, and that it fully covers the brick ledge around the corner. In locations where the framing is not inspected before installation of the weather-resistive barrier, be sure the strap is nailed directly to the sheathing and the weather-resistive barrier is intact and complete, covering the sheathing and the framing. Fully wrap and cover the framing at garage door openings to separate the pressure-treated lumber from the trim coil to be installed later. There can be a chemical reaction between the pressure-treated lumber and the trim coil. It is critical the garage door framing be wrapped with the weather-resistive barrier and that the intersection where the sheathing meets the 2x framing is integrated shingle style. To accomplish this, leave an 8-inch flap extending below the top of the garage door opening. In all instances, layer the weather-resistive barrier in shingle style and take care to minimize seams, especially around the entry. Install 22 gauge corrugated brick ties 16 inches on center horizontally and 18 inches on center vertically in areas to receive brick. Place 8D galvanized ring shank nails in the second hole from the top of the wall tie and nail into studs. Around openings, install additional brick ties 12 inches from the opening. Wrap corners inside and out 12 inches past the corner and tape. Push the wrap tight into the corner and fasten. Clean areas to be taped and roll out with a roller to gain a secure adhesive attachment. Be sure to clean the weather-resistive barrier with a cloth or brush to ensure good adhesion before applying contractor's tape, caulk, sealants, or flashings. In cold weather, be sure to take extra precaution to ensure the self-adhesive flashing adheres to the weather-resistive barrier or to framing. Once the exterior is fully covered with the weather-resistive barrier, cut out the window opening by making a flush cut at the top and at the bottom. Then make a cut in the middle connecting the top and bottom cuts. Once the cuts are made, fold the weather-resistive barrier into the opening, fasten, and trim off the excess. The opening is now ready for the window installers. Be sure there are no fasteners in the way of the window installation. Be sure to cover all of the exterior with the weather-resistive barrier, leaving nothing exposed. If the weather-resistive barrier is cut too short, add in shingle style additional material to cover the gap. Be sure the weather-resistive barrier is installed 12 inches past any corner, inside and out, and that the laps are fully cleaned and fully taped. In locations where the corner hold-down strap is not inspected before applying the weather-resistive barrier, the strap can be inspected by making a vertical cut to allow inspection and then resealing the area with 6-inch self-adhesive window flashing tape. Repair all holes, tears, and other damage to the weather-resistive barrier with tape before leaving the job. At exposed beams on the exterior, install the weather-resistive barrier and other flashings to allow any water getting behind the weather-resistive barrier to get out. Install roofing underlayment horizontally, starting at the bottom, and layer successive layers horizontally, overlapping a minimum of 2 inches on the horizontal laps and 6 inches on the vertical laps. At all hips, ridges, and valleys, apply an additional layer of roofing felt centered on the hip, ridge, or valley. The roofing felt must cover the entire roof deck with proper overlaps layering, and fastening. At roof wall intersections, wrap the roofing felt 6 inches up the wall and layer under the weather-resistive barrier in shingle style. Here is what we are looking for at DSLD Homes. Complete coverage with the weather-resistive barrier. The roof, walls, corners, doors, and windows. Everything in shingle style. Do it right the first time and everybody wins.